Showing up early. I truly appreciate it. Could you do me a favor? Could you just let me know that you guys can hear me okay? I'm coming through clear. If you can just let me know that you can hear me, it would help me out. Make sure that we'll be all set up. Okay. Yeah, so that's weird. Somehow I don't see you in chat. Hold on. Okay, so thank you, thank you. Yeah, it's clear. It's weird. Somehow I don't see you in general chat, but I see you in like individual chat. I'm sure it's just because I don't know what I'm doing with Zoom, but thank you, thank you. I will see you at exactly 4 o'clock. I'm really excited about this. So yeah, we're gonna start at 4, if I can wait. I have to wait. Yeah, we're gonna start at 4. Well, hello, 4 o'clock. I was really holding my hands behind my back. I'm just really excited about this. So, thank you for joining me today for this presentation of ninza's Cosmik Z-TP. Um, First saw it a few weeks back, and once I received it, I just put it on some charts, and I couldn't believe it. Since then, I made 3 videos featuring this indicator. Um, they're on ninza's YouTube channel. Take a look if you didn't see me. First of all, let me introduce myself if this is the first time you hear my beautiful voice. My name is James Buchman. I am a retired New York City Department of Education school supervisor, was always interested in trading, had the great fortune of working less than a mile away from the financial district, Wall Street, met some very smart people, was mentored by some very smart people, made the transition to electronic trading. Um, a little over a year ago. Well, first of all, got a whole bunch of PA accounts, funded accounts. Was very grateful when this came along a number of years back. When I started, there was pretty much just one major company, and now they pop up like mushrooms. Uh, so now I have a number of so-called funded accounts um, with 5 different prop firms. And about a year ago, a little over a year ago, I started my own Discord group where basically I provide levels for 7 futures instruments. Incidentally, if anyone here is from my group, did you take a look at the S&P right before the close? 47, 43, aren't they something? For the well, I was talking about 47, 43 today in Zoom, and they waited till the last minute to hit that 43. I mean, really. And sorry, stay on track. Anyway, yeah. So and back in the summer, partnered up with ninzaco because I thought they had really quality products that were not outrageously expensive. It's just I I worked with a number of companies promoting different things, and it's just the prices for so many things were just ridiculous, and other places I just didn't like the way they did business. In any case, ninzaco I found has quality indicators that truly help traders without it costing an arm and a leg. Okay, so now that that's out of the way, let's talk about Cosmik Z-TP. Here we go. Okay, so we're going to go over some issues that traders have. We're going to see the solution that ninzaco presents in the form of Cosmik Z-TP. We're going to be talking about some aspects of this system. It is a system. There's going to be an awesome offer at the end of the presentation, so make sure you stay the whole time. And then, of course, there are going to be live charts. And when I say live charts, let me, again, if this is the first time you see me, you hear me, in my videos and here, when I trade prop firm accounts. I do not trade market replay, backtesting. I do not trade sim accounts. I do not trade evaluation accounts. What you're going to see is a result from signals created by or generated by Cosmik Z, make it a bit short, Cosmik Z, and the results are in a PA account. Now, a lot of you, I don't want to mention names of prop firms, but the 2 most famous ones, let's say, have PA in front of their funded accounts, but not every firm, by the way, does it in that way. There are prop firms that their funded accounts have a different start. But since most of you know it as PA, I decided to use the prop firm that uses PA in the beginning of their account. So you guys can see this is a PA account. I'm not going to waste your time or insult you by showing you back testing or sim accounts. That's all nonsense. If I believe in something, I have to put my money where my mouth is. That's what I believe. Okay, so problems. Do we have problems? We have problems. Okay. All right. So since I am an educator at heart, I always like to start with questions. This way, you're not falling asleep on me and we are interacting. So it's going to be easy, true or false kind of stuff. At first, we'll get more complicated. So pay attention. True or false? Most retail traders are consistently profitable. Give you 4 seconds on this one. True or false? Most retail traders are consistently profitable. The answer, of course, is true. I'm kidding. No. The answer, of course, is false. Let's get a bit more complicated. About 10% of retail traders are consistently profitable. About 10% of retail traders are consistently profitable. True or false on that? Give you 4 seconds. True. We have some people saying true, some people saying false. Here is the reality, and you can actually contact your favorite prop firm, and if they're honest with you, they will say, in reality, less than 2%. Less than 2% of retail traders are consistently profitable. There is this kind of a percentage that is no longer, let's say, blowing accounts, but they're not consistently profitable. In other words, yes, they're not blowing accounts, but they really cannot get truly ahead. But as far as those who are consistently can month after month produce, generate, let's say, income from trading, that's only about 2%. Shocking, isn't it? Now, why is that? What is going on? I don't know of any other industry where 98% fail. It's just bizarre. So what is happening? Well, trading, of course, has an emotional aspect to it, for sure. Trading is an emotional thing. It has an emotional aspect. But what I find is that a lot of traders really work without a plan. There is no plan. When you trade without a plan, it's like driving with your eyes closed. I mean, that's the only way I can say it. Let me show you something. I'm kind of jumping the gun a little bit, but let me show you. Let me try and hold on 1 second. Now I need to learn how to, let me do this. Nope, do this. Okay, let me make sure. Okay, now let me see if I can bring a chart over. I can bring a chart over. Look at that. Okay. All right. You're looking, this happens to be the 6E, okay, the euro. As I said, I trade PA accounts, okay? This is all from today's signals that I'm going to show you. Now, I did not catch every signal. I'm doing so many things during the day. Let me stay on task here. This is a chart. Where is the edge? People trade without a plan. When you trade without a plan, you trade without an edge. To be successful in this industry, in this business, you must have an edge. Where is the edge on this chart? Where is the edge? What do we do here? Do we do anything? What do we do? Where is the edge? How about now? How about the short? Not a lot of trades today in the euro. The euro was fairly subdued today, but still, here is a short. He was a better short, but maybe we're not awake at this time. This is the edge. This is the edge. All you need to be consistently profitable in trading is an edge. That's it. That's as don't let anyone else tell you anything else. It's not about intelligence. It's not about being, quote, lucky, although luck does play a part in trading. I'm the first to admit that. But it's all about having an edge. And an edge comes with having a plan. Okay, let's move this chart because I'm jumping the gun with the live charts. So your plan should not be very complicated. Your plan should not have too many moving parts. It will make it complicated, which would get you frustrated, and you would not be able to follow that plan. Following a good plan would give you confidence. You will know what to look for. And really, when you choose a system, it should not kind of cover your whole chart. Sometimes traders come to me and there are so many indicators on their charts that I can't see the price bars. And they ask me, what do you think my problem is? What do you think your problem is? Your problem is you cannot see the chart. So Cosmik Z-TP is going to solve our problems. So some components of this indicator. Why is it so great? Well, it has a way of identifying a trend. It then looks for a pullback. Now, we're going to talk about the importance of settings a bit later. Settings are crucial, but we're going to talk about it a bit later. The main components here is a trend, is a pullback, and then it draws ahead of time targets for the longs. It draws targets. Whereas your stop is very clear. In the case of a long, right below the blue area. In the case of a short, there is no signal here, but let's say there was signal here. We will see some short signals later on in the presentation. The stop is above the red. There is no confusion as to where to enter, where is the stop, and where is the target. Now, targets are very individual because some of us might be looking just for a quick scalp. By the way, I forgot to tell you, let me finish with the presentation and then ask me questions. I promise to stay as long as need be to address all the questions. But let me just get through the presentation because I tend to go on tangents and then forget. Okay. Right. So a trend, you know what the stop is, you know where a target could be, unless you have your own target, right? Your own target. It also draws area, and we're going to see that too, of resistance, like major resistance or support. Why is that important? Because you probably, even though you're trending up, you probably don't want to take a long right into resistance. You probably don't want to take a short right into support. It helps you. It's great. It helps you. Even though a market could be strong and trending up, you don't necessarily want to take a long right into resistance. So that's something you learn as you get more experience in trading. If you're newer, this draws it for you, so you kind of know, you know what? Fine, there might be a long signal, but maybe I want to be careful when I get over here. Maybe I want to make sure that my target is hit before that I take myself out, or at least part of, maybe just cover part of the position before price hits resistance or before price hits support. In the case of a short, I want to be at least partially out of my short or protect my position before price hits support. Right. So, so what kind of markets is it for? It's really for any market, but it is especially effective in trend following situations. You see, I think probably one of the reasons why I feel so comfortable with this indicator is because it reflects my philosophy, let's say, of trading. I like to follow a trend, but I like to wait for a pullback. I don't like to chase trades. I like to identify a trend wait for a pullback, then get in. Then I want to know exactly where my stop is. Very important. Stops are crucial. I don't want to get into that part too much, but really, at least from my conversations with traders, a lot of people just kind of refuse to take a loss. They get into a position, either they freeze, I'm not sure, or they just refuse to get out. Um, Obviously, this system cannot force you to get out, but it will at least show you where you should be out, which is just very important. So, so of course, all the benefits, and you can read all the benefits, but the main, I think, you see, the main thing is you are trading in a consistent way. That does not mean that every trade is a winning trade. Of course not. It does not mean that every signal is a great signal. But because you are trading in a consistent way, as long as your money management is good, what do I mean by that is, well, again, I don't want to get too much in that, but a lot of people are way over leveraging themselves. They don't allow a system or an indicator to really work because they over leverage themselves to such an extent that even a small losing trade becomes huge. And prop firms allow you to do that. Hey, it was a $50,000 evaluation account. They let you trade 10 contracts, really, with a $2,500 total drawdown. Really? $2,500? You're going to trade the Nasdaq with a $2,500 max loss with 10 contracts? They allow you to because that's how they make their money. You blow an account and you pay for more stuff. Okay, try not to get off tangent. But again, you just if you don't do anything, don't over leverage. There is no reason to go heavy because then you don't allow a system to work. All right. Okay. Okay. So this again, you can all read this for yourself, but just different features of the system. And the main thing I mentioned here, it has a trend, it has a zone meaning an area where you want to target, and an area where you don't want a price to be for you to still stay in a trade. So a target and a stop, and the signals are very clear. There is never a question of, is this a legitimate signal or not? Now, I will share with you some, I guess, approaches that I use um, with any indicator, with any system. Um, and maybe that's something that would work for you. So um, let me get through this. So next are the charts, and and then we're going to talk about the offer and stuff like that. So now comes the fun of, let's see if I can bring the charts over. So let's start. Let's start. Oops, did I forget to? I'm sorry, guys. 1 second. Let me do this. And 1 minute. Small technical difficulty. I'll get through this. Hold on. Just want to make sure I'm giving you the right chart. Yeah, oil. Okay, oil. No problem. Here we go. So let's again kind of do this and bring it over. And crude. Crude. Okay, crude. Here is crude. So definitely trending up, right? Trending up. Again, a PA account was used. So this is the same account. So it's the same account across all the charts I'm going to show you. I did not catch every trade. I'm doing so many things during the day, trading related. I just take a peek. I have 3 computers running. I have 8 screens. Okay. So I just kind of I put this on with I think 5 or 6 charts, and whenever I saw a signal, if I was in time, I would take it. But So this is a naked chart. This is it. Again, to the point of what do we do with this? And don't tell me, well, price went up. Yeah, you know, this after the fact. And don't tell me you would take a long over here to end up here, right? That's not reality. In real time, if you are here, if anything, it looks like price is going down. You don't know this. You don't know this. But you is on GPT. I'm so on GPT. It was Cosmik Z. It was Cosmik Z, and it did take a long right over here. So here is how I trade. And if you've seen my videos, I mentioned this in a lot of different indicators. I love the first signal in a direction. It's not that subsequent signals in the same direction are no good, but the first one is the best one. So that's why I try to grab the first signal if I can, if I can. I don't remember where I grabbed oil, but I was definitely long at some point. I was long in crude. So this trade, let's see if we can make it a little bigger. Whoops, don't disappear, come back. So here is the long. Now, a few things you should know about this system, this indicator. It does not repaint. What does repainting mean? Repainting means some companies who are not as honest as NINZaCo create an indicator and they show you how great it is, but you find, for example, that it takes a long over here. But when you refresh the chart, or if you close NinjaTrader and restart it, all of a sudden the long that was here ends up being all the way down there. This is called repainting, and this is dishonest. All right. NINZaCo does not do this. This indicator does not repaint. In real time, this signal appears and it does not disappear no matter what happens next. Even if it ends up being, quote, a bad signal, it does not disappear. So this indicator does not repaint. Here is the signal. The stop would be right below here. Very clear. Whereas if you can hold down two positions, and I'm not saying you can. As a matter of fact, in my group, I recommend to grab $100 and be done. But let's say you can hold on. Here are the targets. Again, this is done ahead of time. Here are the targets. Targets, targets, targets. Now, by the way, I don't think it was the first signal. This, this was the first signal. And again, targets, targets, and then you go up. So it's just, and again, this happens in real time. I do not recall which one I took. I did take a long and crude. I just don't remember which one it was. Now, if we continue to look to the left, what happened? Well, here are shorts. And again, I don't know who is up, who's not, but these are the shorts. So amazing shorts and then amazing longs. And this is crude today. This is all from today. I'm not going back to show you some ideal charts. These are the charts I traded using a PA account. Okay, next. What else we have? Let's take a look. How about the YM? The YM. Okay, yeah, so I made this to show this is the US Open. This is 9:30 Eastern, US session open. Here is the first signal. Boom. It started before. This is not the first signal, but as far as US session open, this is the first signal. I'll tell you another thing that I do for myself, and maybe this will help you. I do not trade, or unless there's some special circumstances, I don't like to trade after 11 a.m. Eastern, after the first 90 minutes of trading. Between 11 and 2 o'clock, I just don't like it. And very often I'm completely done by 11. I don't find the need to always be in a trade. Um, it's just that first 90 minutes is good, and then things slow down and start chopping, and so that's just my thing. So I like the first signal in a direction, if I can take it, if I can grab it. Um, and I like to be done within the first 90 minutes of US session. But anyway, we're still going to take a look at everything. So I mean, phenomenal longs, really. What do you say? I mean, shorts, I'm sorry. And here comes a long. Here comes a long. I, right? I mean, I don't think I have to say anything here. It's just now look at this chop. Goes to short. No signal. No signal. Chop is probably the most difficult thing that we as day traders, and most of us are prop traders, so we are day traders, um, have to deal with. Because chop is what kill. It's very difficult to trade chop. It just is. Here is Cosmik Z. No trade, no signal, and then comes along again. Now you see, this is a good example. Oops, this is a good example. The first one is great. This is okay for a scalp, but this one is better, right? So that's what I mean. I prefer the first one. Now I'm already am not trading here, but I'm still going to show you the signals. And you're going to find maybe with some other charts, as we get into lunchtime, that's when accuracy drops. And since trading is all about probability, I much rather trade during a time that gives me the highest probability of being successful. So here's a short. This is the end of the day. So overall, not much of a direction. We go from down to up to down. But I mean, the accuracy is ridiculous as far as the signals go. Absolutely ridiculous. I mean, how do you beat that? I don't know. Okay. So that's the YM. What else? Let's do what else we got? Gold. How about gold? Now, gold, and I promise I will be talking about settings later. I want to dedicate a whole section to settings. I think settings are that important. Gold. So again, so gold opens earlier doing Globex and amazing. I mean, look at that short. Look at that short. Just phenomenal. But anyway, this is closer to the morning here. And once we opened up, not much really. One signal. That was it, I think, for gold. One signal, but a good one. This is this is like $900 over here. One contract. This move. Again, I'm not saying you can hold on for the full thing. I would not be able to. I'm just showing what's available. Unfortunately, just no short, but this long, terrific. And again, talking about chop, look at this chop and no signals, nothing. How do you trade this? I don't know, but there are no signals here. This is the end of the day. No signals for the end of the day. So one trade in gold, but one good one. One good one. Oh, the last time I did a webinar, someone asked me, you always show King Renko bars. How about some other time frame? Okay, here's the Nasdaq. So let me explain the King Renko. I was told by NINZA a while back, and maybe it's not true anymore, but I was told a while back that um, indicators that have like RK in it, that the King's Renko, they made specifically for the King Renko bar. I was told that a while back. I don't know if it's true anymore. But I decided to run the Nasdaq on a 15-second chart. I happen to love the 15-second chart using other things. I decided, why not? Let's see how this behaves with a 15-second chart. So here is the US Open, 9:30. This is the first signal right here. So this is about 10 points. Not bad. then no signals. A whole bunch of chop, no signals. A whole bunch of chop, just directionless, but no signals. Now, no signals, but look at this. We saw this in a slide. This is a major resistance area identified by Cosmik Z. Now, there is no outright straightforward sell here, but I'm just saying, all right, if you have some experience trading, you might take a look at this and say, you know what? If they fail here, they're going down. And they're going down. So yeah, but no signals except here. Here we go. That's the signal. That's the one. Beautiful signal. So it no signals when there is chop. And then however they coded this, for some reason, this is different than anything else before then. I mean, I wish there was a long here, but there wasn't one. Here is a short. And this is just nice. Now, I don't know, it was a long here. Again, I wouldn't trade it this time anymore, but again, I mean, look at this long. Look at that. So, it's just not my thing to trade it this time, but just wow. And this short, again, took some heat, but this area holds. Got a scalp out of this one, or maybe even a bit more than a scalp, right? And then just sideways, no say. Oh, this ended up actually being a monster trade if you could hold it. I mean, this is wow. Look at that. And then this is the end of the day. Yeah. So yeah, end of the day here. So yeah, so to answer an upcoming question, because I was asked that the last time, does this work on some other time frame? The answer is yes. So this was a 15-second chart on the Nasdaq, and I think it did just fine, just fine. Maybe not as many trades as there would have been on a King Ranko, for example, but whatever trades, whatever signals there were, ended up being very solid. Do I have anything else? Yeah, I think I do. What's this? Oh, the S&P. The S&P. In my group, I call it the beloved S&P, very sarcastically. It's interesting. Somehow, when new traders kind of enter this game, they are told to trade the S&P. To be honest, I don't understand why. I think the S&P is one of the toughest, most challenging markets out of all of them. But for some reason, people, I'm going to trade the S&P. All right, trade the S&P. Anyway, 9:30. 9:30. Here it is, 9:30. A short. As far as the S&P goes, if you can grab 2 points, 3 points, you are golden. Again, I think S&P is a very tough market. There is a short. This is a better short, but even if you took a short here, the stop held. This is a great move down. I mean, should be done here. Again, beyond this point, I probably would not trade, but there was still a decent scalp over here. This is still good. Again, you're talking about the S&P. Again, a good short. This is fine for a scalp, but S&P is just tough. And this is the end of the day. So very sideways, very, very sideways, but still, Cosmik Z finds a way to get quite a few points here out of all these trades. It all depends what is it that you are looking for. And I mean, to be honest, I would be done here. I would be done here. Now, to be completely honest, I actually took a long in S&P here. I was looking for a long for my own reasons, and I took this for I don't remember. Maybe it was 2 points. I don't recall. But this was I was looking for a long, and this was my trade. And then it just again, it's the behavior during chop that I think is the most impressive because I believe it is better for us, if nothing else, psychologically. to avoid losing trades as much as possible. Can we avoid all losing trades? Of course not. I wish we could. There is no way to avoid all losing trades. If you can avoid some, even if it means that you miss out on some profitable trades, I believe it is better to avoid losing trades than to participate in all profitable trades. My opinion, because I like to keep my sanity, whatever's left of it. Um, so, um, but this chop, no signals. Would have been great if there could be a signal here, but there wasn't. Um, so yeah, so I think this is all them. I think I showed already the the euro, right? I think yeah, it was the first one I showed, right? So this is the euro, and the euro just had a short, and that's it. The euro just had a short. You know, in my group, I always say I actually came across the euro completely by accident. I never used to trade it. One of the subscribers to my group actually suggested, you know what? I think euro would work terrific with your levels. So I started to look at it. The euro is a very interesting market in that once it picks a side, it tends to stay there. It's not nearly, in my opinion, as unbalanced, as insane as the Nasdaq or the S&P. Once it picks a direction, it just tends to go there. And I mean, like, I mean, you see, right? Like all the way from the previous day, even it just picked a side and it just stays there. It doesn't go most of the time. Obviously, there are exceptions, but it doesn't constantly go long, short, long, short, long, short. It tends to just stay in a direction. And yeah, so the euro today, again, just pretty much one trade during the time that we would be awake. Let's say maybe some of our European friends could trade at some other time, but this was just a quick short in the euro. And yeah, so these old six charts all together, right? Yeah, I showed all six charts. The one I'm missing is the Russell, and I don't know why. I had the Russell earlier today, and now I can't find it. The Russell did well, actually, on a short side, and now I can't find it. Anyway, never mind. Let's talk about very important topic, settings. Settings. Let's talk about settings. Let's pick maybe the oil chart for that. Okay, so settings. So every instrument behaves slightly different. Some have huge volatility, for example, the Nasdaq. Others are much slower. As a rule, there are always exceptions. As a rule, for example, the euro. Okay, I would not have the same brick size for the Nasdaq if we're talking about King Renko or ninzarenko as I would for the euro. I would need to adjust the time frame. So with so these are the settings um, for oil, and to me the most important ones are these first two. These first two. That is what is changed very often for me when I go from a very hyper market to a more relaxed market. And the more hyper the market is, the more these two parameters, these two settings are going to change. Um, and that has to do with how the trend is defined, where the stops would be. The stops for longs, of course, are here. Where is the line going to be? And by adjusting, for example, the stochastics, you will determine how deep of a retracement you're going to want. But here is the question, right? The question is, but how do I know? Okay, great. So I adjust. That's great. How do I know? You don't know I don't know. What I do is I load between 2 and 4 days onto a chart, and I start playing with two things, the time frame and the parameters. Once you have this indicator for a while, you will begin in your head, you will be able to start seeing at least an idea, an approximation, how different settings will affect the chart as far as signals go, as far as the size of the stop, the definition of a trend. Um, you will just know. But in the meantime, when I first got this some weeks ago, it took me a while because I loaded it on my chart and I said, okay, well this looks fine, but now how can we improve? Now I don't look for more than 3, maybe 4 days back because there is no point. Markets change all the time. It is pointless, in my opinion, to look back 3 months, 6 months, a year. Completely pointless. The oil market of a year ago might be completely different than an oil market of today. The oil market from 2 weeks ago might be a completely different market than the market it is today. Um, Very often I get emails asking me to share the settings I had for a particular indicator that I featured uh, now it's like some weeks later, and I really don't keep it. And if I do, I share it. I have no trouble sharing. I just think it's pointless. Um, what happened 2 weeks ago, a month ago, 2 months ago, might be completely irrelevant now. Time frame that worked, that looked great 3 weeks ago, might not look so great now. These settings that were amazing today, absolutely amazing today, um, might not be as amazing in 2 or 3 weeks from now. But it does not mean that all of a sudden the indicator is not working. It's the silliest thing I hear. I'm sorry, but really, when I hear such a saying is, my indicator doesn't work. No, your indicator works. You don't work. And it's not to be insulting, really. I'm not, I am not trying to be insulting. I'm trying to just explain reality. It's never about the indicator. The indicator does exactly what it's supposed to do, what it is programmed to do. It is up to us. It is up to us to figure this. Now, you might look at this and say, oh, but that's so many settings. Isn't it really bad to have so many things you can customize and change? No, no, it is excellent. It is the best thing because the more options you have to customize, the better you can dial in this indicator to what's going on today, not a month ago, today, today. And how do you know about today? You look at yesterday. Not that things cannot completely change from one day to the next, but it's very unlikely that in one day, all of a sudden, settings that were great yesterday are just completely wrong today. Things change gradually. You do have to keep an eye. You do have to kind of see if all of a sudden you hit a day with a lot of signals that didn't quite work well, go back now and try to adjust things. Watch. Tomorrow, chances are the little bit of adjustments that you made are going to work much better than that on a day that things did not work. All these parameters, it's really the more the better. And I know it might seem intimidating, but I'm telling you, this is the answer. This is how you keep an indicator up to date. The more options you have, the longer the life of this indicator is going to be. And with this many options, this system can be working great for a very long time. When I saw all these parameters, I got excited because I realized this is it. I mean, this is how I can customize it from one instrument to another. And in the same instrument, as things change, I can change the settings to keep this system being profitable. The settings are everything. Now, I mean, I don't care. I can show you, chart by chart, what the settings are. If you can bring again the 15-second Nasdaq, which hardly had any signals. Let's kind of scroll back. Whoops. So again, this is what am I doing? Let me scroll back. Somewhere there is my line. Where's my line? Did I lose my line? Oh, no, here's my line. Okay. All right. So this is how the day started. Just a few signals, but anyway, here these are the settings I use for the 15-second chart for the Nasdaq, and you can see it's not the same settings, right? I have to adjust things, and not only that, other instruments 15 seconds is just not appropriate for the S&P. I'm sure the S&P 15 seconds is not appropriate. I'm sure the euro, for example, gold 15 seconds might not be appropriate. But since the Nasdaq is like a mule, for the Nasdaq, it seems to actually for the Nasdaq with other things, I use a 15-second chart as well. Again, I just created this chart for today, just to show that it doesn't have to be the King Renko bar. Um, I'm sure you can customize it for a tick chart, maybe even for a range chart. But just an important point for me to make, well, obviously because it's traded live, but it's not that for these settings, I spent some time yesterday in the evening going over the previous few days. Um, and the Nasdaq again, the Nasdaq is not an easy market, especially when you're looking for something like anything other than a Renko. And I was looking for something other than a Renko because of the questions I was asked. Um, it was actually easier for me to figure out a Renko chart for Nasdaq than something other than a Renko. But since I was asked that the last time, I can now answer that yes, you don't have to use Renko bars. You can use time chart. You can probably use stick charts. So the answer is yes, you can. But you will have to adjust the settings, of course. So that's it's Nasdaq, S&P. So this was the S&P. These are the settings. Again, if you have it already, it's one thing. I don't want to spend too much time on this because if you don't have the system yet, what are you going to? I mean, unless you like after you purchase, I guess you can take a look at the settings and adjust accordingly. But again, I'm just telling you, it's not one of those you do once and that's it and forget about it. Trading is an active sport. It's an active sport. It's not, you cannot be laid back in trading. If you're not active, I don't see how you can be successful. It's constant evaluation of things. Um, it's so, I've received this email from a very nice guy. Um, uh, but it was like he was saying how he purchased other indicators before and just it did not seem to work for him. But the indicators are not there to work for you. You are the one putting the work. they will treat you as well as you treat them. I don't know if I'm saying this right, but all I'm saying is there is no such thing as out of the box, you bought something, it's going to make you money. I I wish trading was that easy. It's not. It is a constant work of evaluating different situations. In this case, evaluating different time frames and settings to best reflect what the market is doing. And again, these settings I was working on yesterday evening for today, because today I had to trade them in real time. That's why I don't show backtesting. In backtesting, it's very simple, right? After the fact, I download some data and I figure out the most perfect settings. But in real time, it doesn't work like that. Um, there is no way to simulate real time using backtests. You know, Mike Tyson had a great line, just a great line. He says, everyone has a plan until the first time they get punched in the face. Um, and why am I saying this? Because you cannot simulate real-time situations in backtesting. Um, you don't know what it's going to be when you take a trade in real time and it goes against you and you take a loss. Well, now what? How is the back testing is going to help you now? You need something. You need. It's only the real time that that counts. And I watched a number of different companies and presenters doing webinars, and I was trying to learn how to do that kind of stuff. And I was amazed that people with selling products costing thousands of dollars, and they show market replay and they show back testing with a beautiful sloping green line. You can make all this money. And I was obnoxious maybe, but I asked them in the chat, I said, did you trade this live? Can I see live accounts being traded using this? And they said, no, that's not what we do. Really? What's the Really? What's the point? You think you can simulate real-time situations and backtesting? I'm sorry, I'm going to stop. I'm going to stop. I just go on tangents. It just really, it just amazed me. Absolutely amazed me that somehow this passes for, um, wow, it's late. I talk too much. Okay, thank you guys for being patient with me. I will now show the deal. I can't believe it's almost 5 o'clock. What am I doing? Okay. Um, okay. Okay. The deal. Okay. So since you are here and you can even, I'm told, scan this somehow, if I understood technology, I would explain it to you, but I have no idea how this works. Anyway, so my understanding is that Cosmik Z-TP, right? Yeah, costs $2,000. Now, I did see it on sale on NINZACO website for like 1,200. Well, because you are here and you took the time to keep me company here, which I truly appreciate, the first 15 licenses are going to be $596. The next 20 are $696. So I guess overall they only allow 35 licenses for this special presentation with $100 difference. But there is also another, hold on, there was something else though. There was something with a voucher, something with a voucher. I skipped a whole bunch of, this is bad. I just want to, because I kept you here so long. If you need to go, I don't want you to leave without it. Yeah, here we go. So this is a code, hello24, for a $200 gift. Now, I have no idea what that gift is. Any questions, you can ask. You can just contact NINZA support and they'll be more than happy. I'm sorry, it looks like I skipped um, um, but I think I covered everything that I felt was important to me. At the end of the day, it's all about live charts. You know, slideshows are great, but you know, what did I do in real time using this? That should be the question. And then what I try to do is just to show you what I did in real time. So let me also maybe do a plugin if I may. I hope it's okay. But so I have so I mentioned that I have a Discord group, and if I can, of course, now find it. So we have a live room, but also these are the levels that I post every evening, a bit after 6 p.m. Eastern, for these 7 markets. And then there's a certain way of trading these levels. Maybe you saw it in my YouTube channel, but it's Algo Day Trader. If you want to come and visit the server, we have a public area here. There's a public area which I share some trades sometimes that I take based on those levels, some totals and more just trades and stuff. Yeah, so what I do is just that, just offer traders guidance, and then you can use an indicator like Cosmik Z with overall market direction, and it's a whole other webinar, but it just really helps to know what is it that the market wants to do. Again, for the S&P today, for example, we were looking for 47, 43. I told the group to look for 47, 43, and they did it toward the end of the day. Well, what are you going to do? Anyway, so I think I'm just about ready for the Q&A section. Let me, I'm ready for this. Okay, I'm ready for this. If you just give me 30 seconds, I need to have a drink of water because I've been talking for about an hour. I didn't even realize an hour passed. So let me just give me a few seconds and I'll be right back. All right, let me see if I can see some questions. If I somehow skip your question, email me, and I will answer whatever question you have. So, LOFI, is this better than LOFI? So that's an opinion question, obviously. I will try to answer it like this. LOFI will give you like support resistance levels. This gives you actual direction. In my opinion, this is an easier system to work with. Now, LFOFI is fine. It has its own features, but this webinar is not about that indicator. I can tell you from my personal experience with both, this one is better. Like if I had the choice between the two, this is what I would choose. To me, it is clearer. And again, it is much easier to customize than the other indicator you spoke about. Great question. It looks a lot like SolarWind, right? Some of it's actually the first thing I thought of when I saw it. It's just the way you can adjust um, entries. Now, I know with SolarWind there was a trend and a pullback, a lot like this. But again, and this is an opinion question, but I believe this is more accurate. Even though I love SolarWind, I use SolarWind, I made videos about SolarWind, but this is just more accurate. And again, this is like an opinion question. Um, it is, I can see the similarity. I understand why you're asking this question. Solar wind, there was nothing wrong with it. Again, I just believe this is more accurate because of all the things that you can customize to make it really flow with the market. There was a question about my Discord group. Well, for the public, there is a public area, but to get the levels, obviously, and the Zoom room that we have, you need to join the group, which is very inexpensive, by the way. It's like it's $60 a month, and I think you get a lot for it. Yeah, so there is a public area, but to receive the good stuff, yeah, you need to join. So, question about, I guess the bigger question is, why keep coming up with new indicators? It's a legitimate question. Why have so many? Why can't there be, for example, just one indicator? I think the biggest reason for that is that trading is a very individual sport. What does that mean? Um, there is no one size fits all when it comes to trading. Some of us are scalpers, some of us are swing traders. Some of us love trend and pullback, some of us love trading from zones. Um, there are just so many different variables. Again, it's not a question of better and worse. I don't like to put it like that because ultimately, I believe it's all up to us as traders. It's not up to any indicator. It's all up to us how much work we are willing to put in to make something effective. Uh, but why are there so many different indicators? Because there are so many different traders. Because there are so many different approaches. There is no one approach. There is the approach. That is what we prefer. Why am I so excited about this? Because this is me. Trend, pullback, go. This reflects my understanding of trading and my approach to trading. Leg retrace, leg retrace. That's how markets work. And this indicator really nails this aspect of it. How do you adjust the settings? Okay, let's take a look. So you adjust the settings by changing these numbers. Now, to me, as I said, it's these two that I changed the most based on the instrument and based on market movement. And then I changed the stochastic. So it's at 714, the D and the K, 714. I might change it to, for example, like 10 and 6 or something. It will depend just how much of a retracement you want to then generate a signal. And again, just different markets require different settings, in my opinion, uh, for the for creating, I guess, the most effective way of generating a signal. It's the only way I can describe it. Um, and again, it's something you have to look back. You download the number of days and you just try. There is no formula to this. I wish I could tell you, well, you take this, you divide by that, and you add this. No, you have to try, trial and error. You try this, it looks good. You try this, it looks better. Okay. And then the following day, you trade it at first, of course, in sim. As you get more comfortable, you can do evaluation account or whatnot. Um, but then you will notice how things look good, and then all of a sudden, not so good anymore. And it's not because of the indicator, it's because now you need to start changing some things. Again, it's constant. It's the only way to be truly successful here. It's not you buy something out of the box, you let it go. No, the more settings you have to change, the better, even though it might look intimidating. Okay, I'm sorry. So let's just the code. What does the code expire? Okay, hold on. So if we go back to here, 47 hours. I imagine it's not so much the code expiring as much as the number of licenses sold for this price. Um, as far as the gift, I don't know if it ever expires, but again, those are questions that are more for NINZA than for me. As far as I know, if I'm understanding this right, 15 licenses for this price, the next 20 for this price, and then again, I guess it goes back to whatever they have on their website. Hold on one second. Do the signals paint at bar close? Yes. Yes, it's always at bar close. So again, if I bring up just to demonstrate what I mean, great question, by the way, great question. So in this, if we can make this bigger, this is where you would enter. The signal is generated at the end, at the close of this bar. And when you're on this bar, that's when you see the signal. Now, you can, after a while, you'll be able to anticipate it because as you're going into this, well, I guess what I call the buy zone here, you're anticipating a bar to close up and then a signal would appear. After a while, you just know to expect it. Okay, so I'm just reading some questions about the website. So, yeah, the last time also, I guess because so many people tried to log in, the website actually crashed. So, if this happens, just email their support. I will also let them know because it's not fair if you're trying to get it for a specific price and you can't because uh, they have website issues. I will definitely mention it to them and make sure that everyone is treated fairly. Um, as far as entering codes, yeah, this is best for you to find out through them. I don't know anything about codes. The question about BWT, just email me. I don't want to talk about it here because it's a different company and I don't want to start talking about different companies. Hold on, let's see anything else. Okay, so the question is pullback or continuation. It's actually both. It's a pullback that then results in a continuation. So, right, pullback that results in continuation. So, as long as the trend is not broken, this system is going to wait for a pullback. The degree of a pullback depends on that stochastic I was talking about. Um, so as you change the D and the K in the stochastics, it will determine how deep the retracement is. So just again, to kind of show, it's a pullback followed by a continuation. So this one is early, this one is better, but the idea is the same. There is no short here, and again, because of that stochastic, it just if it went up slightly more, there probably would be a short, but it didn't, so there was no short. Here there is a long, and upon a pullback, another long. Okay, so yeah, the settings will include the line, how deep the stop is. Is this in a way? Am I told this is in a way? Try and move it maybe. Um, yeah, the setting will include all that. How, what defines a trend? How big the retracement must be. You can shrink the stop area here. They just it's all in the settings. It's just a matter of sitting down and really working it to the point that you find satisfactory. And again, yes, every market would need to be adjusted. Now, I showed you six markets today. I don't think on your own you would trade six markets. So you can just take the time with just one market and really dial it in. Hold on. Okay, as far as NINZA, I just, do the videos for them and the webinar. I'm not in charge of their policy. I imagine it would be quite a bit of work for them to show ideal settings for every um, instrument. I don't even know how to go about something like that. Um, but again, if I may, and I'm not trying to be rude, um, but you can do that. You can sit and you can find the ideal um, settings because NINZA does not have any special powers, nor do I, by the way. I don't have any special insight as to what would work best. Um, because even to say something that works best is difficult because why? It again depends what kind of trader you are. Best for what? Best for trying to grab $60, $100, trying to go for $500. Best for what? All this is so individual that I don't see how, again, in trading, there is no one size fits all. It would be impossible for me to know what you are looking for. Um, so it's a very individual thing, and so it needs to be done on individual basis. Nasdaq. Okay, so you want a super rank, you want a King Renko for Nasdaq. So I don't have this chart because I was always asked about something other than King's Renko. But let's try. I mean, we can try just like as a live experiment. I don't know. Um, oh, wrong one. I need data series. So let's go to data and let's look at King's Renko. So I don't know. 12. Well, this is the Nasdaq. I think 12 is not. So maybe 20. And again, I didn't. These settings were good for the 15 seconds. I don't know how that's going to work with the King's Renko, but here's a sell, right? So then nothing here, nothing here, nothing. There was a great buy. So again, and this is not even adjusted because these settings were for a 15-second chart. I will need to sit down and really work and adjust it correctly to really, for example, I would love for this to be a sell. So I would need to sit down probably with a stochastic and try to play with different things to try and make this a sell. But even without doing anything, you can see. I mean, not too much. Again, it's just not adjust. It's the settings are for a 15-second chart, and you see the difference. You see why it's so important to really take the time. Some scalping here, but nothing, you know, it's a good example of why it's important to create settings for a particular market and a particular time frame. This is a beautiful short, for example. But again, this is not adjusted well for the King's Renko, the way it is right now. How many days? Again, to test for the best settings, I load between 2 and 4 days. I especially take a look at the previous 2 days. Now, when I load these 2 days, I'm not looking for 100% win rate. Forget that. That's not possible. I'm looking for about 70% win rate. Let's say given a 1-to-1 risk reward ratio. That's it. It's difficult to have anything more than that. Sometimes I can get it to more than that, but even if you have a 70% win rate, that's good enough. That's the edge. That's all you need. 1 second. Yeah, again, I would have to, this again, this takes time. I had it set for a 15-second chart. I just put in the King's Renko just to see, but you see why it's important to change things. So I'm not going to do it now. It would take way too long, and I don't want to take everyone's time here. Just trying to see some questions that everyone can relate to. Hold on. It is my understanding that King Renko bars are not included in this. They are sold separately. Um, let's see, RTY. The thing is, and it's a shame because I had an RTY chart that I now cannot find. I would try King's Renko. I'm trying to remember. I would try King Renko 9.3. King Renko 9.3 for the RTY. And then, of course, you would need to still play with the settings on the indicator itself. Yes, I think Ninza does have a manual, that a PDF manual that comes with this indicator. To me, though, it's very intuitive. Um, what's not completely intuitive are the settings, but just the kind of person I am, I much rather play around and create my own experience than to read a manual. But that's just a personality thing. I think it does come with a manual. Okay, yeah, I'm just trying to read all the questions. So again, as far as over optimization, I think there is no such thing. Um, I think if there less is less. In other words, if you can only change three things, what's going to happen is you will not be able to really dial in an indicator for the current market. Um, the more, the better, even though it might seem intimidating. And yes, it might take you more time, but the benefits far outweigh the work that you will have to put in. And trading is work. I mean, trading is work. If again, if you're looking for something that's just a plug and play kind of thing, you put on your chart and you're making thousands of dollars a day, as far as I know, it does not exist. Trading is is constant work, and you are the one who has to change the settings every day. No, I don't change them every day, but every so often I look at a particular day and say, you know what? Today there was only, let's say, a 55% win rate. It was 75 yesterday. Let's see if I can improve something. So that's how I go about it. So these are the costs again. Of the first 15 is 596. The next 20 is 696, and it's on the website now for 1200. So I mean, they give you an amazing deal here, and I'm not even sure. I don't know if you can. I don't know. As far as can you combine this 200 with that? I don't know. I'm not gonna try and answer stuff I don't know. That's a question for NINZA. So I am going to have to stop here. If there was something I did not answer, um, email me. I will answer all questions. If I did not. Okay, one last question. Sorry, my dogs are excited. Uh, Hold on. So 1 second. So this is my Discord. It's Algo Day Trader on Discord. Again, we have a public area, but obviously you need to join to get the levels, the trade indications, the Zoom room. It's just a different way of trading. It is trading uh, with the understanding of the bigger picture of what the market wants to do. And then what I encourage our traders to do is whatever indicator they use, they would just look for longs only or for shorts only based on um, the the direction that the market wants to go in. I don't really see anything else. It's possible I did not see your question. If I did not see your question, oh, my email. Okay, hold on, my email. Where do I write it? Hold on, I'll figure this out. Um, do I write it here? Hold on. Algo day trading at yahoo.com. Hold on 1 second. Algo day trading at yahoo.com. Okay, tell me if you see this. It's in the chat. I put my email in the chat. I don't know if you see it. Let me type it over here also. Yeah, I am not a technology guy. All right. I think I got it now. Okay, yeah. I'll go day trading at yahoo.com. Email me with any questions. Yeah, I'll see if I can do another webinar with this. I am just really excited about it. Only because with fairly limited amount of work that it requires, it is consistent among a whole bunch of markets. And that is what is kind of truly unique, I think, is that not only the Nasdaq, I mean, I showed you 6 markets here, and with very limited amount of work, all 6 markets did really well today. And I think that's what kind of sets it apart from a lot of other indicators and systems. Not to mention, again, as far as the cost, there are systems out there costing thousands of dollars that do not produce as good of results as Cosmik Z does. But anyway, I am done here. I want to thank all of you so much for stopping by, for spending time with me. And again, if I skipped your question or if you have any other questions, email me. And I hope to do another one of these webinars at some point, hopefully soon. Thank you. Have a good night.